Chiefs season preview for 2019. Chiefs had a few injuries last season. Don't know if you're aware. Their squad was injury ravaged. I think them and the Stormers probably had the worst of it last season, just in terms of the pure number of injuries. So if nothing else, we should all be knocking on wood and hoping that these Chiefs guys can stay fit. They're also affected a bit by All Blacks having to be rested. When you combine that with injuries, it didn't leave them with a whole lot of players to choose from. But also the Chiefs had a really good knack of turning otherwise ordinary players into very good players. Like, I mean, Angus Ta'avao, the Blues reject, the Waratahs reject, and they turn him into an All Black. Karl Tuinukuafe got regular All Blacks time from his time with the Chiefs, so they certainly have some talent for developing talent in players. So I guess we'll see if they're able to do a similar job in 2019. But we'll have a look at the squad, we'll have a look at the fixtures, and see what we can expect from the Chiefs in this 2019 season. And yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts. There has been a bit of a squad movement, but they use so many players that actually the core of it still seems to be there. Props: Kane Hames, Sifo Kautai, Nipolalala, Atumoli, Ruben O'Neill, who's come up from the Mitre 10 Cup. He's that guy who got an All Blacks call-up, having never really played Super Rugby. Didn't end up getting a game in Japan, but he was called up into the squad. Aiden Ross and Angus Ta'avao. If they can keep those props fit, there's no reason they couldn't have a very, very solid set piece at scrum time. Hookers: Nathan Harris, Liam Polwatt, and Takiaho. So they don't have a Cody Taylor, Dane Coles, but I mean, Nathan Harris is pretty good. Polwatt's pretty good. Takiaho's pretty good. So solid enough. Locks: Allardyce, not my favorite player. Tyler Ardron, I do like him a lot. He seems really dynamic. Can play in the lock, can play, or second row, can play in the loose. Hoyata and Lachlan Mcdonald from the Mitre 10 Cup. I can't remember how much I saw of him last season. The Mitre 10 Cup at this point is a bit of a blur. Brody Retallick is probably your key man there. They'll be hoping he can stay fit. But yeah, he was injured a fair bit last season, and they still managed to get by. Loose forwards: Lachlan Mcdonald, Sam Cane, Luke Jacobson, Mitch Karpik, Talani Siu, Gus Sawakula, and Mitch Brown. Sawakula is actually pretty good from what we've seen of him. Sam Cane is injured. He's not going to be available for the majority of the season. Lachlan Bashir has got heaps of potential. Mitch Karpik had a very good Mitre 10 Cup campaign, and from what we've seen him in Super Rugby, very good as well. So again, not as strong as some of the other teams, but by no means weak. Scrum halves is probably some of the best depth in any team in Super Rugby, with Tahuri Orangi, Weber, and Taumatene all there. 2 All Blacks and another solid pick. 10 is going to be an interesting one. You got D-Mac, David McKenzie, Tian Falcon, and they've brought in Jack Debrasini from the Rebels. He played Mitre 10 Cup for Northland and actually played really well. I was surprised he didn't get a contract with an Aussie team based on those performances. But I guess with the All Blacks resting players during this World Cup cycle, they're going to need someone to fill in at times. So Debrasini is a guy with Super Rugby experience. Midfielders: Anton Leonard-Brown, Tamua Manu has come over from the Blues. He's one of my dad's favourite players because he plays club rugby here for I think it was College Rifles. Nankivell and Sullivan. I think it's only 4 specialist midfielders, which is a bit light, but there are other guys who can kind of fill in those spots. Outside backs: Alemalo, Mokiola from Japan, come back from Japan. Nana Saturo is an excitement machine player who's played a bit of sevens. Sean Stevenson, Wainui, and Marty McKenzie. Marty McKenzie's kind of that versatile guy, can fill in at 10 or 15. But Wainui, Stevenson, Nana Saturo, some exciting players there. Coach Colin Cooper, he proved pretty masterful last season, so there's no reason why he won't keep up whatever magic he's working with those guys this season. Players out, they have lost a fair few. Sam Pratley, a guy who they called up from club rugby, couldn't make it with the Blues. He ended up not getting a full-time gig with the Chiefs. He's off to Japan to play for the Sunwolves. Tuina Kwafe's head to the Blues. Dominic Bird's gone to France. Messam's gone to France. Faiuli's gone to Japan. And Charlie Nata's gone to France. Tinana Williams didn't really play last season. He's gone abroad. Tony Pulu's gone to the Brumbies. So huge changes, but like I said, that squad was just one of the biggest last season with the amount of injuries they had. Despite all those injuries, they still finished 5th with 11 wins and 5 losses. So interestingly, they're only back to be 5th this season by the bookies. I don't get it. Highlanders have even got better odds. Well, better odds by shorter odds than the Chiefs. Maybe it's the fixtures. Let's have a look. So they start with the Highlanders at home. Trip over to Australia to play the Brumbies away. Sunwolves at home. Crusaders away. Hurricanes at home. And then a trip to South Africa and Argentina to play the Bulls and the Jaguares. So it's a bit of a unsettled start to the season, I suppose. It's, home, away, home. But that's all within Australasia. Trip to Pretoria, trip to Buenos Aires, and then a bye. A well-placed bye. I'm not used to seeing that much in Super Rugby. I know I go on about this a lot, but they need to use the byes in this kind of situation. Hey, they've just been to South Africa and Argentina. How about giving them a break before they go back to New Zealand? Yes, they did. Okay, very good. Blues away after the bye. As a Blues fan, maybe it would have been better to have them straight off the plane from Argentina. Lions at home. Hurricanes and Highlanders away. Sharks at home. Blues away. Reds away. Well, I've got Blues away twice. No, that second one must be Blues at home. Reds away. Crusaders at home, but that's in Fiji. So that could be a pretty huge game for them. Because the Highlanders paid the price for that last year by playing a game in Fiji. They lost. Despite having a 100% home record, when they played in Fiji, they weren't able to replicate that form. A bye in week 17. If you're in a playoff position, that's actually not too bad a spot to have a bye. Because hopefully you should already know whether you're qualified. If you're not, then you've got a chance to rest your big guns for one last hurrah in week 18 against the Rebels. And if you are already qualified, give you guys a couple of weeks off to really rest and recover. Definitely a chance to get some sore bodies mended in time for the playoffs. They avoid the Waratahs and the Stormers, which is a pretty good couple of teams to avoid. All the Stormers didn't perform that well last season. You got to think they'll be a bit better this year. But yeah, what are the big questions for the Chiefs this year? I think, can they stay injury-free? That seems to be kind of luck of the draw. Hopefully the trainers are doing the right things to keep everybody as fit as possible. How are they going to do without Sam Cane is a question. And what kind of form will he be in when he does come back? I mean, he's got a pretty serious injury to his neck. So hopefully they're not going to rush him. They'll do everything slowly and carefully. How's their depth going to be when the All Blacks rest periods come calling? Like I said, I think that might be a chance for guys like Tion Falcon, Debrasini, all these guys to get some more game time. And can they continue to unearth talent, man? Because that seems to be something they did last season better than anybody else. Ruben O'Neill seems to be the next big thing in the propping ranks, at least for the All Blacks selector. So whether they can develop him. Nana Saturo showed incredible potential, so we'll see if they're able to build on him as well. But I mean, for the most part, it's a pretty stable squad. Despite all those guys leaving, the majority of that team played last year, and yeah, I think they should be in pretty good shape for 2019. It's going to be, in terms of the schedule, it's going to be tough, but by no means the toughest. New Zealand Conference is always hard. So if the Chiefs can stay relatively injury-free, no reason they can't be knocking on the door of the Crusaders. I still don't think anyone is quite at that level of the Crusaders. I'll get to their video eventually, but their squad is just ridiculously stocked with players. So the Chiefs will be doing well. If they can get close, hopefully they can challenge and perhaps cause a few upsets. I mean, not many games are upsets when the Chiefs are playing because they're pretty good, but yeah, man, if they could knock off the Crusaders as a Blues fan, I wouldn't be complaining. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the Chiefs season for 2019. How do you think they're going to go? Who are you looking forward to seeing playing? And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.